Wasn't very long ago, we had a look at the brand new Nissan Ariya. They're all electric vehicle. We're at the launch. If you haven't watched that video, make sure to watch it. I'll leave a link in the video description. Well, today we have the Ariya back, but this is not the all-wheel drive e-Force that we had last time. This is the Evolve Plus, and we're gonna take this on a little bit of a road trip as well. All right, we have reset the trip computer. We are starting with 472 kilometers of range, 93% charge, and we are headed from the Vancouver area into Whistler, British Columbia, and it's showing on our map that it's gonna take us just under 2 hours and 153 kilometers. All right, as mentioned, we have tested this Ariya out before at the launch. However, that was the e-Force, which is the all-wheel drive version. This is the Evolve Plus. Plus meaning it has the larger extended range battery. So you get a 91 kilowatt hour battery underneath this vehicle here. It's gonna give you a range of about 465 kilometers, which is about 289 miles for all our friends down in the US there. And this is only a front wheel drive. Now we're driving to Whistler on the beautiful Sea to Sky Highway. If you have never ever driven this road, it's quite spectacular. I would rate it one of the most scenic drives in North America, that's for sure. It's absolutely gorgeous. So we're heading up to Whistler right now. And you know what? I'm not trying to get the best fuel economy. If anything, I'm actually trying to get there as quick as I can because I have an appointment up there and it's for lunch. So lunch is quite important, right? We are roughly about halfway through and we are showing 19.5 kilowatts per 100 kilometers. Not the best, but we are definitely not doing speeds that are conducive to getting the best fuel economy. If we wanted to get the best efficiency, I shouldn't say fuel economy, we would actually try to drive slower and probably, city stuff. We are averaging 94 kilometers an hour. That's essentially 60 miles an hour. So that gives you an idea of how fast we're actually going. And we've been driving for just under an hour and we've done 80 kilometers. So that's about 50 miles also. But yeah, lots of good passing power when we get to the passing lanes on here, because a lot of it is single track and then you get passing lanes. No issue at all. So this does have a reduced horsepower compared to the all-wheel drive. Now once we get to Whistler, I think we're gonna make it there with enough battery left to actually get home even. However, I'm there for a couple days. I might as well plug in, but even in level 2 is not gonna make a big deal. I could just plug into a regular 110. So charging wise, you got maximum 130 kilowatt charging on here. It has a built-in 7.2 onboard charger as well. That's par for the course. That's not the best, it's not the worst, it's kind of in between. Now I keep on wanting to compare this with our IONIQ 5. It just seems like it's natural. Even though this is not a comparison video with the IONIQ, I do have to, point out a few things because we own the IONIQ and it's kind of, they're in the same class. They're pretty well the same size, first of all, even like size-wise. This one is a little bit higher. You also ride higher in this. So if you're looking for a more of an SUV experience opposed to the crossover, this is going to do it for you for sure. You ride up nice and high on here, but interior room, very similar. However, the back seats on this one do not slide forward and back. And yeah, everything is very comparable to the IONIQ 5. The 5 does have the 800 volt architecture, so it can charge up to 350 kilowatts. However, even owning it for a year, I've never ever charged it at that speed. So no big deal. I know everybody wants to harp on how fast it can charge, but you know what, it only applies to if you have chargers that are capable of that speed. Also, if you're going to use it. If you primarily drive your car, within 50, 60 miles of where you live or kilometers every day and plug in at home, you'll never ever see a DC fast charger. We never do anyways. We're gonna touch on a few other things. Make sure to watch our launch video of the Ariya if you haven't already. I'll leave a link in the video description. But anyways, we are like a compact SUV, maybe a little bit larger. It does feel, you know, substantial in size-wise. What I like about this one though is that it's really nimble. It feels really, really light. And once again, comparing it to our IONIQ 5, it drives lighter, and also the turning radius is so much sharper because the IONIQ 5 has a longer wheelbase by about 10 inches, and that makes a difference when you're actually in tight areas and parking lots, you know, tight streets. This is definitely way more enjoyable to drive in those instances. This Evolve Plus is loaded with a lot of features, but just the regular base Ariya comes with a lot of standard features. You get like everything, like the 12.3 inch screen, you get 19-inch wheels, full LED headlamps and taillights. You get Alexa, Pro Pilot Assist with NaviLink. That comes standard, actually. You get a power middle console, you get heated front seats, heated steering wheel, and here's one of my favorite things. We are all creatures of convenience. This has the capacitive touch sensors on both the front and the rear doors, meaning, you know, you want to unlock the door with just a key fob in your pocket, you can grab any door on this vehicle, it's going to do it. You want to lock any door, just touch on the top of any door handle, it's going to work. Believe me, it seems like a small thing, but after driving hundreds, if not thousands of vehicles, it bugs you when it's only the front doors, seriously. So we're sitting in Nissan zero gravity seats, and after an hour and a half or so of driving, they are quite comfortable. I'm pretty fussy with my seats. And considering that they're actually thinner to give you more actual interior space, they don't feel flimsy or thin at all. The interior is also very easy to use. I like the materials that they've also used. One thing that I have to say is that you get the power sliding console, which is nice. Is it necessary? No, we have a manual one on the IONIQ 5. However, the middle console really doesn't have any storage at all. There is the front storage here, but I do miss a little bit of storage. I don't know what's inside this console here, but I would like to have that room back. So Cynthia drives our IONIQ the most, and her first impressions when she came into here, she was really, really blown away by it. She's like, wow, like, especially the wood finish, and she just thought that there's so much less plastic on the interior of this Nissan Ariya than our IONIQ 5. And when you go back to back, you do feel the difference, that this feels like a little bit more of a premium product over the IONIQ. I like the color with the bronze accents. This one does come with intelligent around view monitor. However, on some of the graphics on here, I still don't think they're the sharpest as they could be on these screens, so that would be nice. Also, what's kind of cool, this big panel roof here, you have the sunshade, and I can go all the way back here. You can feel a lot of heat right now. It's quite hot outside, but this roof actually opens, and that's quite unusual for large panel roofs. A lot of times you just get this large piece of glass. Sometimes they have shades, sometimes they don't, and this one has both shades and it opens up. All right, we are here. We're basically just 2 kilometers away from our destination, and here are our numbers. Now, our efficiency definitely did go down because we're climbing up the mountain passes. So we're in the 20s now. We're 21.3 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers. We've been driving an hour and 42 minutes. We've made some amazing time. I'm telling you, the traffic was just flying today. Which is a good thing anyway. So we're probably doing at times 15 to 20 over the speed limit the entire way. Yeah, just flying. We averaged 89 kilometers an hour. That's 50 miles per hour for our average, even with stop and go traffic. And we have traveled 150 kilometers. So all in all, you know, it's like no issue with this road trip. Sure, you probably might be doing longer road trips in your EV, but for me, this is as long as I would actually go. And based on these numbers here, and when we're actually heading home, there's actually a lot of downhill. I would actually not hesitate to just drive back with the charge that we have here. However, I think we will plug it in. Why not? We're at a hotel, they've got electricity, plug it in. All right, we're coming up to a light. I have E-step on, so it's kind of like a one pedal drive. I'm not putting the brake on right now, but it will not come to a complete stop. It's almost like one pedal driving. And it's really nice when we're driving in the twisties in the mountains, because it just has that just enough kind of engine braking per se, and you don't have to actually hit the brake. But it does not come to a complete stop if you have that E-step on. If I turn it off, it's going to really mimic more of a coasting experience on here. But yeah, so final thoughts. Let's start with the likes. I really enjoy the drive of this. I mentioned the nimbleness. I think it has plenty of power, even though it doesn't have the dual motor configuration. You know what? If you want to save some money, you can go just to the single motor, and it's gonna handle everything just fine. I like the range. Hey, we really didn't have to really charge again even, so it has decent range. If you want to do some road trips, no problem with this. Styling and comfort, I like the materials they've used. It's less plasticky, as Cynthia said, than our IONIQ for sure. It's got some nice touches on here. Then brings us to the downsides. Same thing on that wood display. As cool as it is to have everything come through that, when you're in direct sunlight, it can be hard to see those items underneath that wood. And the last thing, it might not matter to you, it doesn't matter to me, but if you're doing a lot of road trips and you really want the fastest in DC fast charging, 130 kilowatts, once again, it's not the slowest, it's not the fastest. There are faster systems out there, for instance, like our IONIQ 5, but like I mentioned, it all depends, it doesn't matter to us. That's it for our little road trip. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. It doesn't cost anything. It just helps the channel out. It helps us make more content for you. See you in the next video. Bye.